Visiting team from New Zealand. Here we go, starting lineup. Wearing shirt number 1, Tane Mumu in position 6, and shirt number 6, Ryan Early in position 9. Welcome shirt number 7, Oscar Clark in position 5. Shirt number 17, Trey Wildboar, DP. Shirt number 16, Leon Lum in position 8. Shirt number 9, Jaden Potts is position 2. Shirt number 10, Zah Shaw Wallace in position 7. Shirt number 14, Hapene Kumaroa in position 3. And shirt number 4, Aaron Golan in position 4. And the number 10 player in shirt number 5, Jaden Hitta. And your management team, head coach Stevie Deans, assistant coach Fergus McAlpine, and assistant coach Carl McElroy, team manager Margaret Marsh, and welcome team scorer Caroline McQueen. There we have our New Zealand Major Sox team. And welcoming our home team Australia, shirt number 11, Cody Smith in position 8. And welcome shirt number 14, Corey List, position number 1. Shirt number 6, Hayden Dobe, position 5. Shirt number 40, Aidan Champsney in position 9. Shirt number 2, Ethan Coffer in position 3. Shirt number 63 is Nick Gurman, playing position 6. And shirt number 32 is Mackay Telfer, playing position 2. Shirt number 5, J.Y. Thurston, position 4. And shirt number 28 is Lachlan Coy in position 7. And then we have Joel Burner in position number 24. Sorry, shirt number 24. Shirt number 82, Boston Lowe. Shirt number 9, Nick Crouch. Shirt number 8, Matt Bidwell. And shirt number 90, Oliver Stewart. And shirt 37 is Sam Seach. Management team, we have head coach Sunny Sunley and assistant coach Stephen McNack and assistant coach Joels McGovern and team manager Andrea Mainsfield. Physio Harry Pierce and staff is Michael Tethridge. Welcome to our 2 teams and our umpires. Let's not forget our umpires. On home plate, Darren Clark. First base is Gavin Shepherd. Second base is Trevor Murphy. And third base, Lance Brown. Our scorers for this game will be Lynette Lethart and Marie Byrne. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can please be upstanding for our national anthems. Check, 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 check. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Tane and Cody, lead your teams to shake hands and return to the dugouts, and we'll get this game underway.
Inga reo, inga mana, tēnā koutou katoa. Nau mai, hara mai ki papai o ia mo te kemu o poi uka. Uhi wero, hara mai te toki. Hongi e, hui e, tāke e. Kia ora koutou, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Palmerston North on day 2 of the international series between New Zealand and Australia. It is the U23 Major Sox from New Zealand taking on our visitors from across the Tasman, Australia here. And the big game tonight here, 4:30 kickoff. We had a bit of rain and precipitation over the first day and a half of competition here in Palmerston North, but boy, oh boy, the sun has come out. The guns have come out, and these two teams look simply outstanding. I'm Jason Gerbes, aka Chopper, and luckily for me, I've got in the booth with me one of the very best, the chairman of Softball New Zealand, Hawani Lambert. Kia ora, Hawani.
Kia ora, Chopper. Great to be here.
Fantastic indeed. Hawani, New Zealand, Australia, always a fantastic feature, isn't it?
It really is, and it's wonderful to see the Australians sending two of their international sides here, the under-23s and the under-18s. You know, the history between these two sides goes back decades. Some of the first internationals were played between Australia and New Zealand. And so it's wonderful seeing the Australians make their way to New Zealand. Of course, New Zealand teams are quite regularly across the Tasman, participating in various tournaments over there, but it's a bit of a special treat to have Australia here in Palmerston North.
It sure is indeed, and as Australia come out of the dugout, let's set their fielding line up for you here because they are pretty slick from 1 to 9 out there. Starting at left field today will be Aidan Chamfries. Centre fielder will be Cody Smith in right field. Probably Chamfries was at right field, as Lockie Clough is out at left field for the boys from Australia. Hot corner third base now is Hayden Dobe, and shortstop today for the boys from Australia is Nick German. Apologies. Hayden Dobe, the big home run hitter, he was at third base. We mentioned already. Second base is Jai Thurston out of Western Australia, Perth. First baseman Ethan Goffer behind the dish. Doing the catching for the Australians is Mackie Telfer. And on the hill will be none other than the flying locks of Corey List out of Queensland. Offensively for the Kiwis tonight, it'll be Tani Mumu, the shortstop, leading off the fire starter. Ryan Early will be hitting 2 today. And then for me, it's Oscar Clark, Trey Wildbohr and Leon Lum, the power and the punch of this New Zealand squad, hitting 3 to 5 in the lineup. The young catcher, Hayden Potts, will be hitting 6 today. Zarshaw Wallace will be at left field in the 7 spot. Hapini Kumaroa is at first base, hitting 8. And rounding out the order for the Kiwis, second baseman, all the way from Wellington, it is Aaron Gollan. So we're all set with the two lineups. Your thoughts on the lineup, Swanee?
Well, they're all looking pretty strong, and of course they've had already an extra innings game in their first test this morning. That game going for about 4 hours because of the rain conditions here at Palmerston North. But these lineups looking pretty tight. I haven't seen these two batteries yet, and so just seeing Corey List open up here.
So all set to go. Play ball called by home plate umpire from Australia, Darren Clark. Hold on, here we go. First pitch is down. Australia going with List on the hill, Battery pairing with Telfer behind the dish. Next pitch is right on the tram line for a strike. Of course, early in this match, Hawani, Corey List from Queensland, Australia, what will he be trying to achieve from the mound?
Well, first I think he'll be just sizing up the weather conditions, so you'll see him throwing a rise there. So the wind is coming in across the diamond here in Palmerston. So firstly, I've just been wanting to understand the conditions out here in front. The Australians, you'll see, particularly the middle infielders, they have these armbands on which have their instructions for the game. So the catcher there, you'll just see on his left arm, he's got a large sweatband. That's got a whole lot of information there that's been provided by the coaching staff, just indicating what pitches they want to see pitched against which hitters. So I think Corey, he'll just be wanting to size up the conditions, see how the wind is reacting to each of his pitches, and then he'll be focused firmly on Tāne Mumu, who of course is a Black Sox player. He's in our most senior team. He's a well-accomplished, even at this tender age, player in that New Zealand side.
Well, fantastic list, sizing up the competition conditions. Now facing the leadoff hitter, Mumu, who lines one out, and coming forward on his knees is Chamfries to make a fine catch.
Well, the Australians will be pleased with that because Tāne Mumu got 2 walks and 2 hits in the first game, reaching base 4 out of 5 times at the plate. So that's a good start from Corey.
Going to bring up to bat now the right fielder for New Zealand, Ryan Early out of Auckland. First pitch is down and inside.
Of course, the early name synonymous with generations of Aucklanders. His grandfather Hilton, of course, a life member of Softball New Zealand, Auckland Softball, Ramblers Softball, and his mother Megan, of course, a strong supporter of Ramblers Softball and Auckland Softball. So I'll be very proud to see their child and grandchild here today. Fantastic
heritage. And this one is down low. 2 balls, no strikes, the count now. Top of the first innings, just underway here. Game number 7 on the schedule in New Zealand and Australia, and time called by the home plate umpire. And just taking care of a bit of plastic. There's been a lot of plastic out this weekend so far, protecting everything from the weather. We're all set to go again. 2-1. This one's outside. I might just double check that account. I think it might be full count now, 3-2. It is indeed.
So Ryan played in the first test, striking out twice, ground out and a walk, and he picks a walk again.
So quality at bat from the right fielder for New Zealand. Down to first base he goes here on the top of the first innings. I'll bring up the third baseman now, and if you ask me, one of the most exciting players that are coming up through the system, it is Oscar Clark.
Oscar impressive in the first game, got on base 3 times, 2 hits. It's a nice drive out to shortstop.
Back in time is early. Now he'll try and go to second base, and he will be rewarded with some hot stepping. But a fine play by the shortstop, Nick German, getting up on that one.
Yeah, he'll be a bit disappointed though, wouldn't he? It was a good catch. I'm not even sure the double was on. We'll have a look again. It was a nice drive out to shortstop. Good catches taken there by German, and then you'll see just a wayward throw. There was no play there at all, and he's given up that base unnecessarily. Puts a runner in scoring position for New Zealand.
So table is set here in the top of the first innings for the designated player now. The first one goes back to the screen. Down goes early to third base as Trey Wildball steps into the batter's box.
So New Zealand now with a runner on third and 2 outs. They started the first test by getting ahead 5-0 early on.
All down low, yeah, hot start in the earlier game over on Diamond 2 for New Zealand. And Australia, though, boy, they don't give up, do they?
No, they didn't. They just kept on plucking away at that lead, and before we knew it, we were into extra innings, and then Australia taking the game in the 8th.
This one just clipping the outside edge. I think that's 2 balls and 1 strike to count now. This one's inside too far, and Wildball, the designated player, will head down to first base. So the Kiwis have got him cornered here in the top of the first innings with the runners at 3-1.
There you see list, and it's just, see his hand just flailing there, and it's almost caught the bottom of the bat, but it must have got some skin because Wildball has gone down to first base. So runners on the corners for New Zealand, 2 away.
Big opportunity here already in the top of this match. And now they'll hand it over to one of Christchurch representatives, Liam Lum. Swings at the first pitch. This one's down low. So he levels the count 1-1 here. Big opportunity here, Wani.
Yeah, there is, and just seem to get the sense that Corey is really struggling, and got a feel for the pitches. If there's one position that really feels the impacts of stop-start throughout the day, it's the pitching staff, and I wonder if we're seeing a bit from that.
Little check swing, excuse me, and running catch. Oh my goodness, Hayden Dobe, check yourself out, kid. What a play to finish the top of the first innings, Wani.
Oh, that was just brilliant, and he really needed to make that catch. We were saying Corey was struggling a little bit. Loose pitch, couple of walks, and boy, he really needed that from his field, and a fantastic catch there.
So we're underway here in the big game tonight. U23 Major Sox taking on Australia. No score. Bottom of the first coming up with the rest of the lineups.
Jack Link's Jerky presents Hangry Moments.
What's your kitty's name?
It's a puma. Thank you.
Jack Link's Jerky, the protein-packed way to feed your wild side.
Well, feed your wild side indeed here. Major Sox softball live from Papaia, Palmerston North, underway. Bottom of the first innings here. It'll be New Zealand taking the field. And defensively for them, left to right in the outfield, it'll be Zah, Shaw, Wallace, Leon Lum, and Ryan Early at right field for the Kiwis. Hot corner third base is Oscar Clark. Tani moves up the middle at shortstop with Aaron Gollan at second. Hapene Kumaroa, he's over at first base. Young Jaden Potts behind the dish. And the big story will come back to him, Jaden Hita on the hill for New Zealand here in this game. Fly ball from the leadoff batter from Australia. He'll be out at centre field is Cody Smith. The rest of the batting order for the Aussies, Corey Liss is hitting 2 today. Hayden Dobe, the home run hitter from the game on Diamond 2 just before. To win that one, basically, he's hitting 3. Aidan Chaffrey's hitting 4 today. Ethan Goffer's in the 5 spot. Nick German is in the 6th spot. Lockie Talfa's in the 7th. Joe Thurston and Lockie Coe round out the batting order for the boys from Australia. This one just slightly inside, and Liss takes that off the elbow guard down to first base. Hit by pitch. I'm Jason Gerbes, aka Chopper. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Great to have you along for this live coverage of Softball New Zealand's presentation of the WBSC U23 Men's Oceania Qualifier. Joining me in commentary in this one the whole way through is Hawani Lambert, a very experienced caller, very experienced player, very experienced umpire, very experienced scorer. Is there anything you haven't done, Hawani?
The question is, could I do any of those things well? Probably the scoring was all right. Umpiring marginal.
Round ball to Clark at third base. He'll make the play at first, but that will allow List over to second.
Well, we were talking before about the struggles that List was experiencing on the mound, and already we've had a hit pitch for the young New Zealander, Jaden Hitter. This is a nice ground ball play from New Zealand. Clark across to Kumaroa. and the runner advances down to 2. So Australia now with an opportunity with a runner on 2 and less than 2 out. 2 away, sorry.
That brings up to bat Hayden Champneys now, out of Queensland. Right fielder for Australia here this evening. First pitch is right down the pipeline, and wanted to come back to this player, Hawani, Jaden Hita, the local boy from Palmerston North, getting the start for New Zealand. How proud.
Well, I know there's a whole lot of Manawatū softball people who have come out from behind the scenes. There's a lot of volunteers here this weekend, but they really want to see this young man do well this afternoon. So lots of excitement around Jaden.
Not his first international experience for New Zealand for young Jaden Hita. He was on the pitching staff for the Junior Black Sox, who went away to the World Cup in Hermosillo, Mexico, a couple of years ago. But now getting an opportunity in the next tier up, Hawaii, the 23s.
And it's certainly a development from the old days when I was more involved, where we only had under-19s and the most senior Black Sox team. This level of under-23s is extremely important. Oh.
And well, I don't know if you just caught that, ladies and gentlemen, from the home plate umpire, but the New Zealand third base coach comes out of the dugout.
Was the wrong one. It has to be the person scheduled to bat last at that point in the game. No, it has to be that person that bats last. So that, yes, it does. So whoever that person that was out, I think it was Hayden, he should have run.
Oh, okay, yeah. So fair enough. Yeah,
This is a
Well, there you go, Juani. We don't even need to explain that situation that just had. It's luckily very grateful the WBSC and Wiremu Tamaki in charge of the crew here this week, allowing us to mic up the umpires. They just explained to you that you put the wrong courtesy runner out there for the pitcher at second base, and he is ruled out. And that'll do us through one complete. Top of the second coming up next. No score.
Being a Manawatū local, supporting our community is at the heart of everything we do. From the Aoranui Hospice, Just Silch and Replay connecting second-hand sports gear, we make giving back our mission. Thank you for all the great feedback with over 1,500 5-star reviews. It's a great reward for our team that their hard work is acknowledged by our customers. And now with the addition of Order Care, we're a one-stop shop. The team are proud to have grown alongside the community, and with your continued support, we look forward to the journey ahead.
Jaden Potts be followed by Zarshaw Wallace and Hapini Kumaro for the Kiwis as they take on Australia here in the top of the second innings. No score in the match so far. A bit of feeling out through the first innings though, Juani.
Yes, there was, and these conditions are starting to be a bit windier, so we've got rid of the rain and now it's the wind that seems to be a bit of a challenge for the pitchers. It's coming across from the third baseline across the diamond. The flags are going left to right, so that'll be just the ongoing challenge for both lists. Oh!
Wow, snap play there for the first out.
Nice piece from Jaden Potts. Got onto that low outside pitch. Drove it down the first baseline, and a nice catch there from Ethan Goff.
So one away here in the left fielder for New Zealand, Zarshaw Wallace will take a pitch on the outside edge for a strike.
Zar from the Hutt Valley Association, the Hutt City United club. Again, another player with one of those great softballing pedigrees.
Just pulls that one down the line off change up. You're dead right. Of course, the grandson of Naomi Shaw. In my mind, arguably one of the greatest on the side. And, of course, the captain of New Zealand when they won the World Cup. And he will go down on strikes as List pulls the string to get the second out.
Yeah, Zard came into the game late in the previous game. Unfortunately struck out to end that match. Now another strikeout here to start off the second test. But I'm sure he'll be back later on in the game.
Hapene Kumaroa now, first baseman for the Kiwis, takes the first pitch above the zone.
That's what these tests are really about. They're about development. You know, these teams are not here to win this series.
Tough play here for the shortstops. Going to transfer it well. And as you can see, that just slips out. But that's not an easy play to make.
No, and it's not easy when you lift your head like that. So the ball hadn't gotten into his glove. And if we see it again on the replay, he's going down to collect the ball. And he just lifted his head at the last minute, and unfortunately it just meant that he didn't see it all the way into his glove, lost control. That's the second error, though, for German.
So Kumaroa down at first base. The young, excitable left-handed Aaron Gollan now. First pitch just can't connect. But boy, oh boy, if this kid puts the ball on the dirt, Hawani, he is quick.
You see the Australians just going low and outside on the left-hander.
And this one's punched over the second baseman. Looking to go coast to coast. Kumaroa and the Kiwis with something cooking in the kitchen here in the top of the second innings.
Well, Gollan picked it. Should have gone outside and it didn't. And he was able to bounce the ball over a shallow second base who'd come in for the slap. But the conditions here just improving to the point where the ball goes over the second base's head. There you see it. And just dribbles out to right field. So a great play there from Gollan.
Top of the shop now, Tani Mumu. Table set for him. Rise ball out of the zone. Might just take a quick moment now, Hawani, to make a mention for this ground crew here at the Palmerston North Softball Association.
Well, it's extraordinary. I mean, you look at the diamond now, you'd never believe the sort of rain that we've seen over the last 24 hours.
And the throw to second goes askew, and the Kiwis will benefit and plate the first run of the ball game here, 1-0.
Well, this is a bit sloppy from the Australians, so he didn't really need to throw it down to second base, but chooses to, and it was a very loopy throw. I mean, if he was wanting to get the out, it needed to be flat, it needed to be hard, and it wasn't. And worse than that, it wasn't on target. So New Zealand get their first run, and you see Gollan going down to 3.
Pressure play from the Kiwis. And Mumu just off that change-up. Corey List, a heck of a pitcher. He's got a good drop on rise ball, Hawani. But he's got this little funky curve that goes to the outside away from right-handers. I think sometimes that's his best pitch.
Nothing worse than a funky curve, Chopper.
No. Hard hit ball up the middle. Mumu's on fire, and he will drive in the second run for New Zealand here in the top of the first innings.
Well, we talked about his performance in the first test, and he's just carrying on from where he left off, Tane Mumu. So that is his third hit in 2 tests, and it's his 5th time on base.
Just doesn't try to do too much with that Mumu. Bottom of the zone, drives it into the ground, straight up the middle.
He makes it look really easy, doesn't he?
Doesn't he? Brian Early now takes one outside the zone. The Kiwis have had a good chance to look at Corey List this season. He's played a whole summer here in New Zealand, down in Hutt Valley for the Totara Park Club. Off and running. And the Kiwis are aggressive.
Well, they are. Tane Mumu is just so quick around the bases. And with 2 away, Australia would have been expecting that play because New Zealand want to get that runner down into scoring position, especially with Tane there. A safe hit to the outfield, that's another run.
So Mumu in scoring position. Early with a 1-1 count now. 2 away, top of the second innings. This one's in the dirt. Good stop behind the dish from Taufa.
So Ryan Early's been promoted up the order. He was hitting 9 in the first game. obviously the coaching staff see an opportunity to lift the left-hander up the order.
This one cuts on the outside edge. Ryan Early was a squad member for the Junior Black Sox to contend in the World Cup right here in Palmerston North back in 2020. This one's the other way. Stopped at third base. If he makes it, it's brilliant, but it gets away, and the Kiwis, they are pushing the foot to the pedal here. 3 runs to 0.
Gosh, this is really uncharacteristic from the Australians. That'll be error number 4 for them in just 2 innings. The ball was driven pretty hard. It was a great grab by the third base. But there we see the throw. It's way off. And that ends up in New Zealand scoring their 3rd run.
New Zealand still with the pressure on. You can see Early at second base in scoring position. And Oscar Clark now comes up to bat. Just to finish that thought, I was talking about earlier before, he was a member of the Junior Black Sox at the World Cup here in 2020. Unfortunately, he didn't get to play one game in the lead-up tournament 1 week out from the World Cup. Early breaks his leg, I think leg or arm, one of the two, and unfortunately couldn't take part in the World Cup. Great to see him staying in the system and now here in the 23s.
So we talked about Early being promoted up the order, and that'll be why. His ability to drive the ball hard along the ground, move the runner. In that case, he didn't just move him, he scored Mumu around for New Zealand's 3rd run. New Zealand, of course, will be thinking back to that first test where they were 5 runs ahead, 3 runs ahead now. Is that enough? Will Australia come back? Bet your bottom dollar they will.
Yeah, without a doubt. They have that ability to graft and grind, do the Aussies. But they're also very, very talented. There's Dobon's shot. He may have had the errant throw to first base, as we mentioned. As that one comes through the zone. 3-1 count. He was the home run hero from the game just finished on Diamond 2.
Now, it's been a couple of long days for both of these teams with the rain, the disruption. You know, ball players like routine. They don't like things being out of order, and so that'll be impacting both teams.
Full count here, 3-2 now on Clark. And Liz rears back. It says enough, you Kiwis, in the top of the 2nd innings. But it's not before Tani Mumu and Ryan Early find the secret potion. And they apply to push in 3 runs here in the top of the 2nd innings. More action to come live from Papoia in the U23 Men's Oceania Qualifier when we come back. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Palmerston North here, and the match-up, U23 men's softball between New Zealand and Australia. It's bottom of the 2nd innings. New Zealand's just struck with 3 runs in the top of the 2nd innings with a couple of hits, a couple of errors, unfortunately, for Australia, but some fantastic pressure in the base running. The Aussies will set up 8 in Champneys. Ethan Goffer and Nick Gurman 1, 2, and 3 here.
I was saying earlier, Chopper, you know, New Zealand got off to a fire of a start. Actually quite similar in terms of being a mixture of hits and mistakes from the Australians. But the Australians have shown that they can come back. In that case, it was 5 down. They're only 3 behind. We're only in the second inning, so it's very early on.
Hard hit ball. And camped underneath it, though, is the left fielder, Zarshaw Wallace, for the first out.
So good soft ball from the New Zealanders. Pitches are there or thereabouts from hitter. But, you know, it's good for a pitcher to have 3 runs on the board. You can just be a little bit more relaxed on the mound. Just focus on hitting your spots. You know, and a good spot is one that, you know, gets an out with as few pitches as possible. And it's a good start in the second from hitter.
Right, I'll bring up the Queenslander now, Ethan Goffer. Starting first baseman here this evening.
Can you say Queenslander again for me?
Oh, hey, high five.
That was really...
Yeah, let's...
It's your Australian coming out.
Oh, I can't wait for State of Origin. Boy.
Boy.
Yeah, fantastic indeed. But Golfer, of course, he comes from a family, 5 sons. 4 of them have played high-level softball for Australia.
You know, we know softball in New Zealand to be a whānau sport.
Yeah.
And we've actually had quite a few New Zealanders who have played to quite a high level move across to Australia. There's a number of softballing families in Australia who originated from here.
It's interesting, I took a mate of mine, coach in Queensland, and because there's so many of these golfers, they had a saying for them. They said, what's the saying? The saying is, as this one comes down the zone, the saying is, trying to pick these guys up for their teams. And it says, once you get a golfer, you'll have no better offer. So they love them over there.
At least it's a compliment.
Yeah, 3 and 1.
Yeah.
This one through the zone, fills the count up. He's quite the character too. I caught up with him last year. The Southside Stingers brought a team over to play in New Zealand. And yeah, I got to catch up with him in that. Very funny young man. This one's down low and very patient as well as you head down to first base with a walk.
So we haven't seen too much pressure on the New Zealand field yet. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to be a bit tidier than the Australians. Wondering to what degree the conditions are affecting the Australian field.
You had that one called nice and early by home plate umpire Clark. Dead ball in the box. I wonder if we take an opportunity to introduce our umpires for our viewers out there today.
Yep, got Darren Clark on the plate. First base, Gavin Shepherd. Second base, Trevor Murphy. And a local umpire from Wanganui, Lance Brown at third.
So fantastic to have those umpires or kaiwawal in their service to our great game here in Palmerston North. Jaden Potts there, I don't know if you noticed on that last pitch, is a drop ball short hands him. This one's hard hit, but it's sky high. The wind will pull it over a bit. And the centre fielder, boy oh boy, that is textbook two-handed from Leon Lum.
Certainly is, and it's good to see the fly ball. And again, the wind would have been a bit of a worry for Lum, but nicely taken, as you say, Chopper, 2 hands. That's what we like to see.
You can see in the back of that shot, the flags flying, 19 degrees Celsius here locally. And there is a slight breeze, 18 kilometres an hour coming in from the west. And that it seems to be picking up a little bit, but I'm quite happy about that because as long as it blows the showers away, Wahanu.
That's right. Look, I don't want to count our chickens, but I think we're going to be all right for the rest of today.
Check swing. This one goes foul off the bat of the catcher, Mackie Telfer. So 2 strikes on him now.
The hitter's had a good start. There's not a lot to him, Chopper, is there?
No. However, be aware he has got the heart of a lion, this kid, and the courage of one as well.
He's throwing good pace. Must be up around 110, 115. It's possibly the first mistake we've seen from the New Zealand field, a pass ball.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say before, though, and I don't know if we'll get a replay of that, young Jaden Potts, and he is young, getting a great opportunity here in this team. He's got the ability of drop down to block the ball well with his body. Oh, a good setup and a frame job to suit. Potts on cue as the Kiwis will leave one stranded for the Aussies at second base. And we're all done for 2 complete. New Zealand leading 3 runs to 0. Hawani, 3 runs to 0 here. New Zealand, of course, off to a hot start in that second innings. Your impressions of the match so far?
Well, it's New Zealand, really, who are creating the opportunities. They are in the heart of the action. 3 runs from 2 hits, forcing 4 errors. On the flip side, Australia, they've had a couple of runners on, but it's a hit pitch, it's a walk. They really haven't forced the field to do any hard work, just 1 ground ball. So at the moment, you'd have to say that New Zealand are really dictating the flow of this game.
So, opportunity for New Zealand to try and keep that pressure applied here. And they're going to try to do that through their designated player, Trey Wildball, the centre fielder, Liam Lum, and catcher, Jaden Potts here in the top of the 3rd innings.
So New Zealand will want to continue to apply the offensive pressure. 3 runs in their last turn at bat, so they'll be wanting to at least get runners on, if not add to the total. It was a good reminder, Chopper, about Corey having spent a bit of time in the Hutt Valley this year. So, you know, the windy conditions are not going to be too much of an issue for him. He'll be quite familiar with those. Yes. It's just the wet. It's been a pretty dry summer, even in the Hutt Valley, Chopper.
Oh, it's been fantastic. And this one's lined, but boy, oh boy, I tell you what, that Aiden Champneys at right field, he just seems to be the right man in the right place all the time.
Yeah, we didn't have to move too much. The ball was hit so hard from Wild Boar. So, look, yes, he went out, but he won't be too upset with the quality of that contact.
Liam Lum now flew out to the 3rd baseman on his first at bat. On a fantastic play. Looking to mimic again, but this one will go foul. Young Hayden Doe, boy oh boy, remember he just scaled down the line, diving away from his position to make that catch.
It was a great catch, all right, and as you say, he had that home run, but then we also had that error. It's a bunt.
Running bunt play, and New Zealand find the key to Pandora's box, and safely down to first base goes Leon Lum.
But there's the difference, isn't it? So you put the ball in play, put it on the dirt, force them to pick it up, throw it and catch it, and that's exactly what New Zealand are doing.
So with one away here, Stevie Deans' men, an opportunity again in the 3rd innings. Trying to advance the runner, and they'll do that through the young catcher, Jaden Potts now. Off and running on the first pitch, and he is safe. So New Zealand have showed their intention early on the base pass, haven't they, Wani?
And look, I think New Zealand are a bit lucky there, because if that was a good throw, I think Lum would have been taken cold. But they're doing the right thing. They're continuing to dictate terms. They're not going to just sit back and wait for balls to be hit in the air and caught. So New Zealand are really taking it to Australia, and it's a good strategy.
0-1 the count. This one's up top. German, apologies, the starting shortstop for Australia. Hard hit ball. And guess who's there again? Champneys, but the runner will tag up and at least advance to third base.
Nice contact again from Potts, but a good catch there from Champneys. Didn't need to move too far at all. It was hit deep enough, though, to allow Lum to go down to 3 on the catch. 2 away.
Zarshaw Wallace now steps in. This one just grooves on the inside edge for a strike.
That's good from Shaw Wallace. So he's had a couple of strikeouts. I'm pleased that he didn't go after the first pitch. Just get a bit of a feel, settle down in the batter's box. An opportunity here to score with 2 away in the top of the third.
This one's up top. Why do you want to get your thoughts on New Zealand's coaching strategy here? So normally you might find a head coach out at third base. Stevie Deans is no. I'll stay in the dugout and manage from here. Carl McElroy is down at third base. Fergus McAlpine at first. So more like maybe a Major League Baseball style management.
Yeah, it's very baseball-like, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see the general manager kind of sitting in the dugout, observing things. I think it's a good plan, actually.
Same.
It's a good approach. Particularly when you've got a couple of assistant coaches, you know, being able to sit back in the dugout, just think about the game more broadly rather than being in every play like you have to be when you are coaching on the bases. So I think it's very sensible.
So 2-2 the count here. Wallace pulled down the line through the 5-6 hole he goes. And a sure thing, Shaw Wallace adds to New Zealand's scoreline now 4-0.
Well, that's just fantastic from Shaw Wallace. So the disappointment from the previous game, striking out to end that game and New Zealand losing by 1, comes back, strikes out again, then in the third inning with a runner on 3, comes up with the hit. Great stuff for the youngster.
Adapt, improvise, persevere. All great characteristics of great athletes. As this one goes line down the line. Hapine Kumaroa now.
Again, whakapapa. So Kumaroa, son of Jason Kumaroa, son of Shah Powaka, nephew of Nick. Fantastic Canterbury softball pedigree.
Just sheer experience. All of those people you mentioned have represented New Zealand at the highest of levels. And Kumaroa blasts one, looking at trouble, but the left fielder, Lachlan Clough, with some good footwork and technique, secures that one to make it look easy. So we're all done through the top of the third innings, but it's not before a sure thing. Zarshaw Wallace drives in 1 for the Kiwis, 4-0.
Being a Manawatū local, supporting our community is at the heart of everything we do. From the Aotearoa Hospice, Just Zilch, and Replay connecting second-hand sports gear, we make giving back our mission. Thank you for all the great feedback with over 1,500 5-star reviews. It's a great reward for our team that their hard work is acknowledged by our customers. And now with the addition of Order Care, we're a one-stop shop. The team are proud to have grown alongside the community, and with your continued support, we look forward to the journey ahead.
Bottom of the third innings and a hotly contested matchup here. U23 men's international softball live from Papaia, Palmerston North here this evening. The Kiwis, New Zealand taking on Australia. New Zealand just struck for another run in the top of the third innings. They lead 4-0 at this point, and Australia will send up 3 of their best. Jai Thurston, Lockie Coe, and top of the shop, Cody Smith, 1, 2, and 3. This pitch is down low. Aussies have only sent up 7 batters in the first 2 innings. Hoani, what do they need to do different here to start creating some competition?
I think they need to do that. So hit the ball along the ground rather than hitting the ball long and in the air. And basically take a page out of the New Zealanders' book. You know, force plays. Try and force runners on base, and when you're on base, steal bases. Create action. And I think that's what you'll see from them now.
You used the term last innings, dictating terms. I like that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Australia have to take away from New Zealanders, and that's a great way to start.
Johnny Thurston, the young kid out of Perth, Western Australia. A chance to catch up with him last night momentarily. Was really, really happy to be here. And we've seen a few Kiwis over in the last winter. We've got a few Kiwis going over again this winter, so good teammates, he believes. Lockie Coe now, the left fielder. Off and running is Thurston, and he is around the back door.
Well, Tane Mumu doesn't agree, and usually when Tane does something like that, he's pretty surprised at the result. We'll see if we can get another shot of that.
Yeah, Mumu's there. I was going to say he was cold coming in, but Stevie Deans will go out there to ask the question. A very senior umpire out there, Trevor Murphy from Australia. He's been on the world circuit for a very long time, Hoani, and he's got a great advantage point, so you've got to take his word in that point, don't you?
Yeah, and he's not going to change his mind, so I'm not too sure what Stevie's trying to achieve here. I'm even surprised that he's going to ask the question.
Well, it's fantastic, and the good thing, though, Hoani, is that these umpires, I like this about our WBSC umpires, they have no egos, they're more than happy to come together, and like in this situation, because they want to make sure they've got the right call, don't they?
Well, that's right, and the way they're trained is to make sure that they're not the centre of attention, that they're here for the players and for the game. So, you know, umpiring at this level, you do see it, and the call, though, isn't changed.
There you go. Thank you for the consultation, Trevor Murphy and the rest of the lads out there in the blue crew. And he is safe. So Thurston slides in the back door into scoring position. 1-1 the count now.
That's what we needed Australia to do. So they got on base with the ground ball, they stole a base, they forced a play. Now, New Zealand could have really have taken their wind out of their sails if they had have caught that runner going down to 2. It was a close play, but Australia are doing everything right, but they're still chasing 4.
This pitch outside. So a hitter's count now for Australia. Lockie Coe.
Potts and hitter, they're really working the outside of the plate, and they haven't been very successful, so they might need to rethink the zone for the Australian umpire.
Pick off back door. And Thurston is just back in the nick of the time. Same time though, that pitch was outside.
Have a swing.
And no swing on the outside pitch. So Coe will go down to first base with a walk. So it's a single to left field and a walk on the first 2 batters here in the bottom of the 3rd innings. Australia maybe dictating terms. Cody Smith now.
So top of the order now for Australia. Last time Smith flew out to centre field with some good contact. His first turn at bat.
Yeah, you can see how close that play was at second base, can't you?
Yeah, I just think Tane's reaction says it all. He got something. Maybe the umpire wasn't well positioned to see it.
Running bunt attempt, but it's a steal attempt as well, and bang, into third base. Tane Mumu makes sure of this one. This is close.
Well, this is extraordinary. It was a great throw from Potts, but look at this tag from New Zealand. So he is a running fielder trying to grab the ball and hit a moving target with his glove. And you can't quite see it on screen there, but he did everything absolutely correctly. That is a great play from New Zealand. Tane Mumu in the action again, and this time successful.
I tell you what, Hawani, I've called quite a lot of Australian games over the years, and that play right there, the double steal, is something they came out with about 5 or 6 years ago, and they've kept doing it. So, wow, didn't come off this time, but aggressive from Australia.
Aggressive from Australia, but also great defence from New Zealand. So, you know, the pressure's being applied to New Zealand, but they are responding. They are responding with a couple of great plays. Yes, it might have been close. Australia might have got that stolen base down to 2, but it was still a great defensive play to put the pressure on Australia.
Change of pace, got to come forward, does Early. He does. The runner is tagging, but he will respect the power of Early's arm and almost gets picked off at second base. Wow.
And I'm not too sure the umpires were ready for that. Lance Brown did make a call as we see the fly ball. So Smith just reaching across. It was a one-handed contact in the end, and a great play here from Early going straight into 2. And we'll see it come in pretty close, but safe.
Good call, Lance Brown, third base umpire covering that play. Just a little time called here as one of the kids warming up down the field line, and we've had lots of kids here this weekend coming out to watch not just our major socks in Australia's U23 team, but of course the under-18s and the junior socks are in town, and of course the under-15s, the D-Sox squads for both the boys and the girls are in a town as well, Juan.
Creates such a nice vibe around the park. So you've got the young ones watching their role models, battling it out at the highest level. Fills up the ballpark with parents, kids. It's a really great atmosphere, and considering the weather conditions, to have so many people down here watching quality softball is a good thing. Nice thing to do on a Saturday afternoon.
The Corey list here arcs around on that one. And a little bit of breeze. You see first base coach for Australia, Stephen Minnick from Saskatchewan, Canada, but been residing in Perth, Australia for a number of years. Got the assistant coaching role this year. Of course, he's joined by Josh McGovern, who's down at third base, very experienced campaigner. Well, actually, he's in the dugout right now because head coach Scotty Sunnelly out of Redlands, Brisbane, the head coach for the 23s program. A big swing over the top of that one from List. The drop ball falling off the table.
Just looking at the previous game, Chopper, and New Zealand only had 1 error in that game as well. This game, no errors. Australia 5 in the first game, 4 already in this game. And we have a saying in softball that offense wins games, but defense wins championships. And you just got to think, gosh, if New Zealand can continue the performance in the field that they're showing in these first 2 games, maybe that's the thing that will see them through.
Defense wins the championships. Runner on 2, 2 away. And here comes the 2-2. Slow grounder, but goes foul to the right side. Nothing better than a well-executed double play. We already saw a fantastic dive from the Australian third baseman running away from his position to make the final outs. The first innings. And List just lays back on this one. Goes foul out of play. Scotty Sunnelly from Redlands at third base, the head coach for Australia. He's very experienced. He was in charge, I believe, from memory, he was in charge of the 23 crew that went to Paraná, Argentina for Australia. And of course, they won the championship there. Another foul ball, but a quality at bat here from Corey List, finally.
And that's a good reminder, Chopper, of just how good this Australian side are. So for New Zealand to be so competitive against the current world champions, you know, this is a good sight to see for our under-23s in this series.
Boy, oh boy, Paraná, Argentina, that World Cup was craziness. The crowd the atmosphere, the bands playing, the barbecues, the huge Argentinian flag at centre field. What a carnival atmosphere of softball. And List with his 103rd foul ball in this at-bat.
Well, it's a battle, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, this is important because List knows that chasing 4 as they head into the top of the 4th after this. You know, 1 run will make a difference here. They just need to get on the board.
Drop ball down and in and can't get it to stick in the glove of Potts.
Jaden will be kicking himself that he wasn't able to hold on to that one. It would have been a great foul tip to hold on to.
This one's outside and List is rewarded. He'll head down to first base. That is a quality at-bat.
Certainly is. And it brings to bat Gerbes from third base. Of course, he had that king hit that won the last match for them. Something similar here, Chopper, would be interesting.
Well, he's got the ability, that's for sure. Jaden Heta, 2 away, just 1 more to get out of the innings. And he starts with 1 down the tram line.
Sounds a little bit better from Heta and Potts, so not trying to get the strike call too far outside the plate. Got to make sure they keep that outside strike low.
Hard hit ball, Moo will make that one look easy. And they'll take the option of going to third base for the 3rd out. And maybe 2 walks issued in the innings. And about 82 pitches thrown to Corey List. But it's no score. The Kiwis are happy. 4-0 they lead. Top of the 4th coming up next.
Being a Manawatū local, supporting our community is at the heart of everything we do. From the Aotearoa Hospice, Just Silch and Replay connecting second-hand sports gear, we make giving back our mission. Thank you for all the great feedback with over 1,500 5-star reviews. It's a great reward for our team that their hard work is acknowledged by our customers. And now with the addition of order care, we're a one-stop shop. The team are proud to have grown alongside the community, and with your continued support, we look forward to the journey ahead.
Well, international softball here from Papaia, Palmerston North and Manawatū, the middle of the North Island of New Zealand. And we're up to the top of the 4th innings. The Kiwis struck first, the top of the 2nd with 3 runs. And then another one in the top of the 3rd. They lead 4 runs to 0. And it'll be the number 9 hitter in the batting order for the Kiwis, Aaron Gollan, who takes his first pitch right down Main Street.
Yeah, so we saw last time Aaron managed to get it over the head of the shallow second base, who's come in around about the same depth as the pitcher and first base. What this play really needs, though, is for the pitcher to keep the ball low and outside and force the ball to be grounded out to the third base.
I mentioned in his first at-bat, this kid, when he puts contact on the ball, he's lightning quick down the baseline, and he's got the nod. He is very young, is young Aaron Gollan. Only about 17, I think, years of age, maybe 18 at the most. And here's a slap, and boy, look what I got. The second baseman, Thurston, takes a ricochet off the pitcher List to get the out.
Oh, that'll go down as a D14, so it's a driven ball that's been deflected off the pitcher. And a nice little collect here from the second base. There you see it just come off the glove of List into the arms of the second base for Australia. 1 away.
Thank you, Wani. Now I know what to write on my scorebook. D14. Thank you. Very good. Top of the shop now, Tani Moo. Hard hit ball. It'll go foul down the line or level the count 1-1.
So Tane Mumu, one hit from 2 turns in this game. Got on base 4 times in the previous game. As you'd expect, he's really leading the way for the New Zealand offence.
Driven in 2 of the 4 runs for the Kiwis here this evening. And of course, as you just mentioned before, freshly named the New Zealand Black Sox side to go to Prince Albert, and that's why as he drives this up the middle, and watch him fly. Here goes Mumu, and easily into second base. Good composure from the shortstop from New Zealand.
Gosh, I almost thought he was going to have a go at 3. He is that quick. He is that quick, Mumu, around the bases. Here you see the hit. He's just gone with a lowish outside pitch. That's the sign of a class hitter who can take that out to centre right field. It's a nice sliding collect in for Australia. The ball quickly in. That would have had to have been a good throw actually to get him at 3, but Mumu decides to play it safe and stay at 2.
Ryan Early makes a pitch in the dirt, and I just mentioned Mumu just named in the final 16 for New Zealand to head away to Prince Albert, Canada in July this year to contest for the WBSC Men's World Cup. And of course those 16 names, big talking point around New Zealand, who's going to be chosen for the Black Sox. It's such a storied history, isn't it?
It is, and you know, another great story yet to be written in Canada this year, and I think the team have everything required to be back on the podium. And I know that it's not just my best wishes, but the best wishes of all softball fans here in New Zealand. They do well, and I'm sure they will.
Carl McElroy, third base coach for this major Sox. He'll be watching the Black Sox in July with optimism. Good pitch by List on the outer edge, levels the count.
So unlike Golan, Early is a true lefty in that he will stand and hit the ball hard. Last time got on base on a erred throw, and before that a walk, so he's already been on base twice in this game.
Little late drive, will it find some grass? It will, and now Mumu is off. He will score with ease. Early will skid on around. It's a stand-up triple from the Aucklander. Ryan Early as he plates the 5th run of the ball game for the Kiwis.
Well, it was good contact from Early, but it was just a bit odd. It was almost like the Australians had misjudged it. Centre field seemed to be ambling over quite slowly. We'll see if we can see it here. It's a nice drive from Early. We'll see the pitch. It's a rising outside pitch. He just goes with the ball out to left centre. Well, it might have been a bit harsh, but certainly misjudged in the collection of the ball. And what should have probably been just a 2-base hit has turned into a 3-base.
Mumu was tagging up on that play at second base. Still scored with ease. So New Zealand strike for another run here in the top of the 4th innings. Only 1 away. Now Oscar Clark has an opportunity with his countryman only 60 feet away. List sits back. Low lifter is low though, so back-to-back balls here. Clark is patient in the box, isn't he?
Yes, he is, and he had a nice drive in his first turn at bat. We're wanting to make up for the strikeout, his last turn.
Taking all the way on that pitch, so hitters count now for Clark. Out of the Mount Albert Ramblers softball club in Auckland. This one skids away. Here comes Early. And he will score. New Zealand are driving, definitely dictating terms. 6 runs to nil here in the 4th.
The Australian didn't even appear to be that interested in covering home plate, so I'm not too sure what's going on. But New Zealand now have their 6th run, and Australia have to be careful here because 7 runs, of course, in 5. Not that we should be saying things like that at this stage as New Zealand supporters.
And off and running, New Zealand have stolen every base that's been on offer in this match through the first 4 innings.
Yeah, they're continuing to be aggressive. The difference here, though, is that when Australia really leaned into the New Zealand team in their last turn at bat, New Zealand responded strongly on defence. We're not quite seeing it here from the Australians.
This one comes on the outside edge against Trey Wildboar. In the hole now, 0-2. All down low. Things, I think that last pass ball and just the last few moments in this game just feels like a little bit Australia have taken their foot off the intensity level. This one fouls back. Feels like they need something to fire them up, Wani.
Yeah, it's really, really strange, isn't it? You know, and even just throwing the ball back to the pitcher list and it kind of dribbles on the ground, and it's very untidy. It's unlike the Australians.
All high. Just watching the body language of the Australian coach in the dugout off screen here at the moment as we see Trevor Murphy there from Australia. Arms across his chest. I'm sure the mind is debating things. 6 runs so far. Slow roller the other way. Goffer will take care of that, but Clark will advance to third base.
Yeah, not the easiest of ground balls to collect for Goffer, but he does a good job, gets his body in behind it. Oscar Clark goes down to 3, but 2 away chopper. Here on the replay, it's a low outside pitch, which Wild Ball goes with.
Rise ball well out of the zone against Leon Lum now. Trying to convert another run here. Already converted 2, the Kiwis. Low lifter on the inside edge is good. Rise ball out top. So 2-1 now. And list, I think these are the moments it feels like to me, Hawani, we need your pitcher to just take charge. That one's through the zone.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the Australian strategy is here with their pitching, whether they decide to protect their other pitchers and not show them, given that they're 6-0 behind.
This one fouls off. Of course, it's a 5-game qualifying series between New Zealand and Australia. 2 games. This is game 2 of their schedule. They will play the 3rd match at 7:30 tonight. They do have someone warming up in the bullpen. Hard hit ball. Will go foul down the right side. Joel Byrne is loosening up in the bullpen for the Aussies.
Just prior to the game, Chopper, there was a lovely, quiet, private function for... I'll tell you more about in a moment.
As we see Lum go down on strikes, but it's not before the Kiwis on a bit of midge and magic. Tane Mumu right early, and Oscar Clark combined for 2 runs. New Zealand lead 6-0. Bottom 4 coming up next. No mai, hoki mai, welcome back to Papaia, ladies and gentlemen. It is international softball here at its best. U23 men's division. And New Zealand leading 6-0 on the back of Jaden Hita, the local boy, the Manawatū boy on the hill for New Zealand. Australia will send up the right fielder Champneys, first baseman Goffer, and the shortstop Gerbes. 1, 2, and 3 here in the bottom of the 4th innings. And thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, across Aotearoa and the Motu, New Zealand here, but of course our friends across the ditch in Australia. I'd like to welcome you into this evening's broadcast, well, this afternoon's broadcast for them, I suppose, over in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth, and the rest of that great country of Australia. Joining me in commentary in this one, very privileged to have the chairman of Softball New Zealand, but also I mentioned all of those jobs he's done over the past. We've got to mention international broadcaster as well, Hawani Lamb.
Wow. Hey, Chopper, you didn't tell me this was going to Australia.
Yeah, we like our friends over there.
My husband's Australian, so I don't mind Australians too much. Now I have to take back all comments that have been critical of Australia.
And a hard hit ball to Mumu, and he backs up and plays that one perfectly for the first out.
Well, they've just been extraordinary in the field, New Zealand, and led by that man, Tane Mumu. That was a tricky ground ball, hidden hard. He had to go back slightly, had to get the ball across to first quickly, but a great play. So, good way to start the bottom of the 4th.
Queenslander Ethan Goffer comes up to bat next. Haven't found out if he plays rugby league in the winter yet. Well, we'll find out for you, Arnie.
So, are you a Maroon supporter?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh, same.
Yeah, without a doubt. Got a lot of New South Wales friends. My original rugby league club was the Balmain Tigers. Still is, with the Warriors, of course, these days. But Queensland through and through, for sure.
I think New Zealanders of a certain generation. We came through that Wally Lewis, Mel Meninga.
Oh, how good.
Langer.
How good. I had the pleasure of living in Brisbane for a couple of years, way back in the day. Lots of good friends there. Have good friends in Sydney and Melbourne too before you turn the channel off on supporting Queensland so much, Dringos. But no, great place, Australia. Fantastic. Beautiful beaches. Yeah. Oi. Some of the world's best. Some fouls off.
And as tough as we are on Australians, you know, I can't say anything more positive about Softball Australia. Our relationships with their board, relationships between the two officers. Australia have been nothing but a great friend when it comes to helping us develop these players and develop our sport. So a big thank you to them.
Long history of collaboration between two federations, New Zealand and Australia. Of course, we all remember back in the day when New Zealand were, I'm not going to say above Australia when it comes to standard of softball. It was a hard hit ball from Goffer up the middle, but the Black Sox were about 5 steps above Australia in those days. They opened their arms to bring the Aussies into New Zealand's program playing, and we've seen the fruit of those generosity at that time. And now Aussie, they are kind of leading the pack a bit, and they're doing the same back. So it's great to see.
It's a great relationship with Australia, and long may it continue. And having opportunities like this to have a number of New Zealand, Australian sides be hosted here for these types of test series, we're really keen to see these become an annual event.
Shortstop now, Nick Gerbes. This one buckles the knee on the inside edge. One away here, Goffer down at first base.
So the key here for hitter and Potts is to continue to spread out the hits from Australia. So this is just the second hit that Australia have got in this game. And now they just need to do what they did in the last inning. Now back it up with some continued pressure on the batters, collect those outs through ground balls, fly balls. I think we've only had 1 strikeout so far from hitter.
Yeah, he's normally a drop ball pitcher, as in a ground ball out pitcher. So as you mentioned, he's not a power pitcher. But sometimes he can gear it up just a little like that pitch for the outs.
Well, I think he heard us and got a bit brassed off, didn't he? He's like, well, I'll give you one strikeout. Here's another one.
Yeah. But one thing that he does have, though, young Jaden Heta, the Manawatū boy, pitching for New Zealand, is he has good control. And that's key, isn't it?
Well, it is. And what you've seen from Potts and Heta is that they've continued to adjust their zone. So you saw earlier they were going outside like they have there. Umpire's not calling them. They'll just work their way around the zone, and it is very controlled. So you're right. May not be the same power, but certainly there's a lot of control.
Very young battery team here for New Zealand. I'm not going to say if you add their ages collectively they're under 23, but they're not far off it. And Jaden Potts, I'm pretty sure he's only about 17, and Heta, I think he might be 18 at most. The outside edge.
Umpire's been very consistent.
Hasn't he? Darren Clark out of Brisbane, Australia. Great to have his services here. This one just a little bit outside. 3-1 in the camp now.
I think we've just got to be careful here. You don't want to bring it too much closer.
Telfer ready. This one pulls in on the inside edge, but this is a good example of this control. We saw outside out, so then cutting on his hands. But it's the consistency to be able to deliver that pitch to the spot called by Potts behind the dish, isn't it?
Yep. Working the inside this time.
Let's call him Nostradamus here. Whitey Lambert picks it before it comes. I like it, Whitey. I like it. Mind you, you've seen the odd pitch come down, my friend.
It's the positioning of Potts. Telfer's got good fast hands, so they'll have to be careful. They're going to bring it in like that on the hands of Telfer. He's got quick reactions. He's turning on that inside pitch quite well. This time outside. And it's called.
Bang, bang on the outside edge. It's called indeed. And it's back-to-back strikeouts from from young Jaden Heta. He's only got one strikeout. Okay, watch this. Bang, bang. 3 now, and Australia is still scoreless through 4 complete. The Kiwis in charge, 6-0. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Papua here, of course, the big one coming up, July 8 to 13, Prince Albert in Canada. The WBSC Men's Softball World Cup will be hosted, as you can see, the 16 men from New Zealand, Daniel Chapman, Rona from North Harbour, Liam Potts, the pitcher from Canterbury, the catcher Bishop from Wellington, Watts, the catcher from Canterbury, Gibson, Reimaki, Makia Matakatia, the 2 Evans brothers, Tani Mumu, who's out here today, 2 Anokas, Thomas and Ben, Riley Markia, Hohepa Monk, and Te Kirika, Cooper, Nicola are the big 16, Hawani.
Well, there's a medal. You look at that, you think that's got to be a medal. And wonderful seeing Dan Chapman in that team, exactly what the New Zealand team require, that experience, that speed on the mound. I think they're going to do some great stuff. And Tane Mumu, aren't we just honoured to have him playing in this game today? And you can just see in the quality of his play there at shortstop why he's been selected in that team.
So we wish Thomas Markia's men, the New Zealand Black Sox, all the best as they finalise and finish their preparations before heading offshore, I believe, for a few weeks campaign leading up to the World Cup in July. And I'm sure plenty of the Kiwis that are watching today have booked their tickets to go over and support the men in black. Jaden Potts will lead off here in the top of the 5th innings, be followed by Shaw Wallace and Hapini Kumaroa, 1, 2, and 3.
Jaden will be pleased to see his brother Liam being selected for the senior side.
Well, he's really come on, left-handed pitcher, Liam Potts. And we've always had a good lefty in amongst our pitching staff. Heine Shannon, one of the great ones over the years. Now Liam Potts. And he's only young too. He's a young 20s age group type thing. But boy, oh boy, he is a workhorse. So Potts trying to find his way on. And a pitching change for Australia into the ball game. We mentioned him warming up earlier. Joel Byrne will come on and relieve Corey List on the hill here in the 5th innings. So 6 runs, the number, 5 innings, the duration. Hard hit ball, and boy, oh boy, that's 2 of those to Goffer off Potts.
Yeah, so great grab there from Goffer on first base. Interesting decision to bring Byrne in at this stage, and I'm just wondering, Chopper, if this is trying to build back Byrne's confidence. He started the first test and gave up a few runs, so maybe that's the idea here, is just to give him a few innings to regain his confidence.
Got to see a bit of Joel Byrne this summer in New Zealand. Came out and played for club side in the 04 region. And good to see there's again like an unofficial way where our 2 countries are supporting each other, isn't it? Rise ball, and Byrne just looks like he's maybe got a kilometre or 2 more of pace on the ball as well, Barney.
Yeah, and a very good rise ball, you can see there.
Tries to groove that outside corner. This one just a little low.
And Zara will just be wanting to continue on from where he left off in his last turn at bat. A nice hit to left field to score New Zealand's 4th run.
This one is good though, right at the very bottom of the zone.
Yeah, you can see Australia at the end of their last turn at bat, they weren't all that happy with that outside strike being called by the Blue. They felt that he hadn't been calling them up to that point.
Hard hit ball, it comes off one glove, goes into another, and the throw isn't too shabby, and a bang play at first base. Wallace is safe.
Well, this was a close call. Zar was a bit slow off the mark. The ball deflected off the third base to the shortstop, and here we see the play coming into first base and called safe.
Always tough, those ones to call when the sun is going down in the twilight hours of the day. The Kiwis benefit with a runner at first base here. That'll bring up to bat the first baseman, Hapini Kumaroa. Got on via an error on the shortstop in the 2nd innings, and then lined one to left field in the 3rd. This one's off the glove. Can he beat it out? A spiked throw, and the Kiwis with a little bit of fortune here in the top of the 5th innings.
Well, the Australians are a bit all over the place. It was a firmly hit ball back to the pitcher, but he should have grabbed it. He still had time though once he'd pulled it in. If he had made a good throw down to first, can he do that? No, he can't. So it's gone into the dirt, and New Zealand now with runners on 1 and 2 They're 6-0 ahead. An extra run here, and who knows what could happen. Could have an early finish.
Top of the 5th innings, of course. 7 after 5 invokes the run rule ahead rule. The Aussies got to contend with Aaron Gollan first. Ball down low, it bobbled, and Shaw Wallace, he was going on the pitch.
Yeah, that was a steal call, and I think it just caught Australia out. Telfer wasn't really anticipating it. I think he might have lost the ball anyway. Good running from Australia and good aggression from New Zealand.
So now, New Zealand with 2 runners in scoring position here. Maybe with a solid stroke from the left-hander, Gollan, but only will they get the margin of 7, maybe an assurance of 8. No swing on that last pitch. Cody Smith, the left fielder, watching on. Sorry, centre fielder. He'll need a big throw here. Goes at it with the bat, can't make contact. Interesting looking at the dynamic of the infield alignment here against Colin Whiting.
Yep. So the strategy is keep the pitch low. Colin will be thinking, can I do what I did the first time up, which is actually bounce it over the top of these infielders who are descending upon me. Really, all he needs to do is to put the ball in play, because that's going to force a play, and those runners don't have to run on second and third.
Goes at this one with a hard stroke and chasing. It'll go out of play though. And there you can see Dobe on the screen. He made an amazing catch running away like that before. But the Aussies' alignment, second baseman and shortstop are shallow. When I say shallow, they're even more shallow in front of the line.
The risk they run here with this strategy is that if Gollan manages to get hold of one in a gap, they don't have as much room to move. That's a great pitch from Byrne, low and in.
Just what the doctor needed and wanted. Byrne revs one up, throws it off the table. Picks up the second out here.
Would you put him on? I'd put him on, Chopper. One's open.
Scotty Sutherley and you come from the same school, mate. That's an educated softballer. Tony Mumu, no chance. You've done the damage today already.
No, thank you.
Of course, it makes sense. Base is open anyway as well. And Ryan Early, he's been troubled today, driven in 2 runs himself. Forced an error in the second inning off the third baseman's throw. And then the stand-up triple to left field.
Yeah, I don't understand this defensive strategy here. So there's 2 away. Early is not a slapper. He's swinging hard. So having your second base that shallow when it's not really a slapper that you're facing, I don't know.
I think maybe it is maybe a scouting report. They don't have enough of a scouting report on Ryan because he is contact, and we saw that with his triple to centre left. Maybe the scouting report on the pace of Shaw Wallace at third base. Maybe. This one misses inside. So 1-1 the count on Early.
And sometimes you employ this tactic if you want to put psychological pressure on the hitter.
You can see the second baseman, Jai Thurston, well in.
Usually 2 down, we're sitting back because just field the ground ball. You've got your choice as to where you throw it.
Yeah, you've got more range, right?
Yep, you're not forced to make the play at home. We'll see.
Well, Joel Burns not paying any attention. He wants to sit him down at the plate. And a rise ball low lifter is perfect on the outside edge, and he does sit him down on the plate. The strategy to walk Mumu pays dividends, and Australia will put a donut up on New Zealand in the top of the 5th innings. 6-0 Aussie. Wait for their comeback. It's coming.
Being a Manawatū local, supporting our community is at the heart of everything we do. From the Aotearoa Hospice, Just Zilch and Replay connecting second-hand sports gear, we make giving back our mission. Thank you for all the great feedback with over 1,500 5-star reviews. It's a great reward for our team that their hard work is acknowledged by our customers. And now with the addition of Order Care, we're a one-stop shop. The team are proud to have grown alongside the community, and with your continued support, we look forward to the journey ahead.
Bottom of the sixth innings, Tino Rangatiratanga hanging out on the left-hand side and the Aboriginal traditional flag on the right-hand side. New Zealand, Australia under the banner of the WBSC, hosted by Manawatū Softball Association, presented by Softball New Zealand. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. A fantastic game in front of us. New Zealand leading 6-0 in the bottom of the fifth innings. And New Zealand will make a change on the hill. Jaden Presley will get an opportunity to show what he can do as the young starting pitcher, Jaden Hitter. What a 5 innings of work from him, Oani.
And look, I think that's a great call from Coach Stevie Deans to make the replacement at this stage. So New Zealand just need 9 outs now to take the game. And it's a good opportunity to bring in Presley just to mix things up. Of course, Hitter had given up a couple of hits, but he still was looking pretty tidy. So good to take the youngster out whilst things are going well, and he can build on that confidence later on in the series.
Fantastic debut for the Major Sox for young Jaden Hitter. I already mentioned he's only about 18 years of age, so his ability to throw at this level, the U23 level, there are plenty of those opportunities to come. Jaden Presley, an Aucklander, plays out of the Howick Softball Club, and he can really bring it sometimes. In the hole here to the starting batter for Australia, Jai Thurston, will be followed by Lachlan Coe, and top of the shop, Cody Smith. Sneaks this one through, that'll fill the count, 3-2.
Well, Presley will know that the field are delivering at the moment. Still errorless in this game. And he's got a bit of a buffer with 6 runs. So it's a pretty good time to come in and just focus on movement, being accurate. Potts, he's got a good read on these hitters now, so he can look after Presley.
And Thurston patiently waits out a rise ball. He'll take off the leg guard and down to first base he goes. So Australia start off the bottom of the fifth exactly how they wanted it. Hawaii, their lead-off batter getting on. Lachlan Coe now, left fielder. Hitting in the 9 spot for Australia.
Good catching there from Potts. So we just want to settle Presley down.
Affectionately known as JP, sits back. Low lifter. That'll go out the right side. Boy, New Zealand, a 6-0 lead here. In the bottom of the 6th innings, what's going to be some of the catalysts of things that they will need to achieve here to be successful and win this match?
Well, they just have to carry on doing what they're doing, which is being aggressive on bases, forcing plays at the plate, and continuing to be perfect in the field. really have been so impressed with just how tidy they've been defensively. It really gives a pitcher like Priestley a lot of confidence knowing you've got a field who are really performing behind you.
Co in the hole now, 0-2. On the flip side, Hawani, for Australia, trailing by 6. And this portion of the match, bottom of the 5th innings, what do they have to do to be successful to come back and win this game?
Well, by bringing in Byrne, what they're saying is we're not going to give up. And what I think they'll be wanting to achieve is to at least get a few runs before this game ends so that when they go into the next match, they're doing so on the basis that they've come out with a little bit more success with the bat.
Well, Priestley decides to take care of that batter with a strikeout on the outside edge.
Nice drop ball there from Priestley, and he needs to continue doing that. So you don't want to get the ball too much in the middle of the zone with these hitters. They're too good for that, and before you know it, things could unravel.
Cody Smith now, first time seeing Jaden McCabe Priestley. Allows that one to come through the zone. 2 fly ball outs for the top order batter for Australia. One to centre, one to right. Pick-off attempt to first base, and the tag isn't that hospitable, and nothing malice about it whatsoever, but that's not fun.
Oh,
Look
right.
at the smile on his face. Johnny Thurston, what a character.
Yeah, so whilst each game's important, it really is about the series. And with Australia being 1 up, they'll just want to make sure that they come out of this game with a bit of positive momentum. So scoring 1 or 2 runs either now or in the 6th and 7th, that'll be pretty important to them.
Of course, 3 wins out of the 5-game series will give you the top billing and ranking going into next year's World Cup. Hard hit ball, looking for a double play here. Mumu moves it on, baby, oh baby. The Kiwis are feeling it. What a play, Hawani.
Well, that is extraordinary. Everything had to happen very quickly. So the ball goes back to Priestley, does a good grab, turns straight away. He's throwing ahead of Mumu. Mumu collects, nice footwork, and then over to first, and that is a comfortable double play. Great work, New Zealand.
We're through 5 complete. The Kiwis are fired up. They're in charge as they run off to the dugout with a 6-run lead.
Being a Manawatū local, supporting our community is at the heart of everything we do. From the Aotearoa Hospice, Just Zilch, and Replay connecting second-hand sports gear, we make giving back our mission. Thank you for all the great feedback with over 1,500 5-star reviews. It's a great reward for our team that their hard work is acknowledged by our customers. And now with the addition of Order Care, we're a one-stop shop. The team are proud to have grown alongside the community, and with your continued support, we look forward to the journey ahead.
No mai hoki mai, and welcome back here to Papaioia, and you see 2 flags flying proudly here at Palmerston North, and I tell you what, national patronage of a country's flag, whether it be the New Zealand flag or Tino Rangatiratanga or the Australian flag or the Australian Aboriginal flag, those are proud things, aren't they, Hawani?
Oh, they really are. And, you know, race relations on both sides of the Tasman has been quite challenged over the last couple of years. And yet it's in sports like ours where all the politics go out the window and you just focus on things that bring you joy and contribute to a good, healthy life. And so I think it's great that we can fly those flags so proudly in environments like this.
It is indeed. Acceptance, celebration, togetherness, beautiful parts of the human race. Ryan Early will watch Oscar Clark lead off here for New Zealand, and Trey Wobb will follow him, and then Leon Alam. Maybe an opportunity for a pinch hit. We'll find out as we work our way through the back end of this game. Relief pitcher for Australia, Joel Byrne, continues to work his second innings here. And this one's lifted. The wind will hold it though. And the centre fielder will take that with ease, Cody Smith.
Yeah, Oscar making some good contact there. Still yet to get a hit in this match, so he'll be a little bit brassed off that one wasn't able to find the grass.
Trey Wild ball now. The designated player role. He watches this one come down the edge of the zone.
Chopper, I just feel the zone has widened slightly. We weren't getting many of those outside pitches before.
Well, this one goes the other side. That takes a look back from the batter. As long as it's the strike zone widening and not my waistline, Huani, I can't complain. So 2 strikes to count now. This one's out. Joel Byrne, you look at his demeanour on the mound. He's all business, isn't he?
Oh, he really is, and I wouldn't like to be an umpire on the wrong side of him, because he really does glare at you if he's not happy with how you're calling.
A lot of effort into his pitches. I haven't had the pleasure of getting to meet him properly yet, but I've heard the reports. He's a fantastic teammate. Outside. So full count now to the designated player for New Zealand.
Trey walked first time up in the first. It's flown out to right field, ground ball to first.
And this time he decides to punch it through the 5-6. I'll just set on that outside drop ball and punished it.
Well, it's New Zealand's 7th hit of the game. Comparatively, Australia with just 2 hits.
Leon Lump has one of those hits, a safe bunt in the 3rd innings. Was a victim to an amazing play in the 1st innings from the 3rd baseman, Aidan Dobe, running back in a diving play. Strikeout victim in the 4th. That one just missing. The Kaiappa or pitcher for Australia. Just taking his time here. Off and running on the pitch. Boy, New Zealand, they don't stop, do they, Huani?
No, they've been aggressive right from the beginning of this match, and it continues. I just get the feeling this is going to be the tone that they'll be taking right through this series.
2-1. A little push play there. That would have worked a charm. Second baseman Thurston, as soon as he showed up to bunt, broke for first base. If he'd made contact, that was an open door to the outfield if he'd had dribbled it through there. Straight back, double play ball. 1. The footwork not quite there, but they'll get the lead runner, does Australia.
That was telling, wasn't it, Chopper? I mean, it was a very similar play to what New Zealand had to end the last inning, but everything just seemed a bit slower. So the ball got back to the pitcher about the same pace, but the shortstop, the transition from the pitcher, the throw was slower, it wasn't as sharp, the footwork wasn't there, weren't able to turn the double. And there I think you see just the difference between these two sides in this match.
Just defensively, New Zealand maybe with the edge here this weekend, and I'm sure Scotty Sunley, head coach for Australia, will be looking to address that later before game 3 tonight for them. Of course, that one's scheduled for 7:30 tonight. Get a little dinner break. Off and running New Zealand again, and they swipe that with ease. The throw is ajar, and the door's open enough for New Zealand to go down to third base.
New Zealand continuing to apply the pressure, forcing pressure on the throw, which was wayward. Wasn't able to be collected, and Lum is fast, and so he was quickly down to third base.
Jaden Potts now. 2 balls, hit his count, best opportunity for him. Was underneath the zone. Seeing good contact off the bat of Potts. Just no ability, hasn't had the ability to get safe. And I think it's one of those things you were talking about earlier. I forget who was the batter, but the contact was good. Even though the result may have not have come his way, that particular at bat, the contact was good.
Yeah, you're right, Jaden. He's had a couple of nice drives all to the right-hand side of the field and another hit.
Well, nothing wrong with that contact again there. And this one, this time, it's straight up the middle. And Lum will come in and cross for the 7th run of the ball game for New Zealand here in the top of the 6th innings.
That's a great response from Potts. We were saying he was making good contact, and there made good contact again. Just this time there wasn't a fielder in the way. So he scores Lum from third base, and New Zealand up by 7.
That's exactly what you were talking about, Hawani, and you couldn't have put it better. And you said that comment about the second innings of one of the New Zealand batters. I think it was like Oscar Clark or something, and about that contact. And that's it, isn't it? You keep on contacting the ball well. As Shaw Wallace contacts this one well down the line, good things are going to come.
Yeah.
So they will have the courtesy runner for the catcher, Potts at first base, and it'll actually be Leon Lum. So after he crosses home plate, your job's not done, sir. Back you go. So he's running at first base now.
You know, you don't want to draw too many conclusions after just a couple of matches, but you get the feeling that Australia might just have the advantage of pitchers with pace. New Zealand might just have an advantage with fielding. In terms of hitting, though, I think that's where it's 50-50.
Yeah.
And really does depend on who's able to make good contact, string the hits together. So that's something else New Zealand have been able to do, is to make sure they've got rallies going, that they're not leaving too many batters stranded.
And that's what when we get to the bottom of the 6th innings, not there yet, but when we do that, I would like to see someone from this Australian lineup to be the spark plug. Normally there's a spark plug in them somewhere just to ignite their offense, because once they get a roll on, they are dangerous, aren't they, Guani?
Well, they are. And, you know, the vulnerability for New Zealand is that, you know, once Australia get on top of them, you know, we haven't seen it yet. But if they do, how will New Zealand respond?
Yeah.
Will they be able to fight back? So we know Australia can.
Yes.
They did that in the first match. But what happens when Australia gets ahead early? How will New Zealand respond?
Yeah. Interesting moments to come as Shaw Wallace continues. Full count on him. 2 hits today for Wallace. And this time he'll wait out a walk. So a good day for the left fielder from New Zealand. Be happy with that. An RBI to his credit as well. The youngster from Hutt Valley.
Well, we mentioned Czar's disappointment at the end of that first game, but I can tell you that whole New Zealand team were a bit brassed off. After being ahead by 5-0 and then to lose it in a tie-break. They came in here and they were wanting to prove a point. And I think we're seeing that.
Up in Kumaroa now. This one skids away, so the Kiwis will put both runners in scoring position now. It's insurance run time for sure, because we know Australia are going to come out with at least a 7-run margin. If they can't pick up those runs, the game will terminate at the bottom of the 6th innings. So they daren't give up any more runs here, Hawani. Just the one strike in the count here. This one's low and Byrne is frustrated on the hill. Goffer, first baseman. Couple of fine defensive plays from him tonight. Full swing from Kumanoa.
He's not far off it, is he? Not far off it at all.
Tell you what, that was looking to book its own airline ticket out of here. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Byrne doesn't back down, trust me. High chance this one bangs him on the inside hands. Well, we'll go outside again. Oh, but it's a little extra oomph. You heard that, Juani, you heard that, didn't you?
Sure did. It was a great pitch from Byrne and really getting one back on the New Zealand hitters. It was a bit of a crazy inning for Byrne with a walk, a wild pitch, hits given away, but he certainly had a good response there to Kumanoa to retire him after New Zealand's 6th turn at bat.
Well, the New Zealand catcher, Jaden Potts, gives them the margin, drives that one up the middle. They lead by 7, New Zealand. 3 outs for the ball game when they come back at the bottom of the 6th underneath our national flags.
Being a Manawatū local, supporting our community is at the heart of everything we do. From the Aotearoa Hospice, Just Zilch, and Replay connecting second-hand sports gear, we make giving back our mission. Thank you for all the great feedback with over 1,500 5-star reviews. It's a great reward for our team that their hard work is acknowledged by our customers. And now with the addition of Order Care, we're a one-stop shop. The team are proud to have grown alongside the community, and with your continued support, we look forward to the journey ahead.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and Australia will greet us here in the bottom of the 6th innings with a lead-off single. They trail by 7 runs to New Zealand. New Zealand have come out of the gates hot with 3 runs in the top of the 2nd innings. They played it a run in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and the margin of 7 in the 6th run. Australia yet to score a run in this match. And now trying something. The bunt play, but the first out is taken here in the bottom of the 6th innings.
Well, we talked before about how important it would be for Australia to at least score 1 run coming out of this game, just to shift the momentum as they head into Test 3. And it seems that the Australian management have the same thought on their mind, so not really looking to protect outs, instead just trying to get the runner down to 2. They'll also be looking to see if they can address the 7-run deficit so that the game doesn't finish early. Again, though, New Zealand impeccable in the field, so that was a tough sacrifice bunt. Really put pressure on Priestley, but nicely done to take the out.
You can see here the temperature's just dropped up a little bit, 20 degrees Celsius, but the thing I'm happy about that weather graphic, Wani, there's this little sun above the cloud, and we haven't had much of that for the first day and a half here, but it's okay now. I see a cloud in the distance, Wani. I hope we're out of here before it comes, that's for sure. And Jaden McCabe-Priestley in for his 2nd innings of relief work here for New Zealand. Now facing the right fielder, Aidan Champneys. fouls this one back. I've got to find some time to have a chat to young Aidan. I'm pretty sure I played with his father back in the day, but we'll find out if it's the same family from Queensland. It's great to see that, Wani. I talked to Damien Collins about this names that I see popping up. Big rise ball from McCabe Presley. And that'll pick up the second out. He misunderstood me last night. He thought he was talking about we've seen these kids at age groups and stuff for a couple of years. No, I remember their fathers playing or their mothers playing. And, yeah, bloodlines are big in the game, aren't they?
Oh, they are. Really are. We've already talked about them in this game. Just with the
Commodores.
Yep.
Gophers, who's up the bat now.
Presley's done really well in these last 2 innings. So again, he's given up a couple of hits, but he's spread them out. He's also completed a couple of tough defensive plays, including a double play. So if he can keep it tidy to finish this inning.
Hard ball up the middle. Mumu dives, but it'll go past him. And Australia, we were waiting for the moment that someone would spark them into action. And it is the replacement pitcher Byrne with the lead-off hit, and now Goffer lays the one up the middle. They get their first run of the ball game now. We will go to a 7th.
Well, you're asking who would be the spark, and I think you've got your answer. It's Goffer. So 2 hits in this game as well as a walk. And in this case, the RBI, that will mean this game will continue to a regulation 7 at least.
So that old mate of mine, coach in Queensland, wasn't wrong, was he? When you find yourself a golfer, you'll have no better offer. Young Ethan, sorry, Awani. Young Ethan gets the job done here.
If the Goffer family are as tired of this, I've only heard it twice. Oh, my life.
Oh, my life. Nick Gerbes now. Starting shortstop. Flew out to centre field in the second innings. Strikeout victim in the 4th. And a change of pace. That's tidy. And that'll be the last out. So a 2-out drive up the middle from Goffer. No better offer, that's for sure. They are through to the 7th innings. Trailing by 6, 7 runs to 1.
Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef.
Oh, New Zealand leads 7 runs to 1 in this U23 men's WBSC Oceania Qualifier here this evening in Palmerston North, Papua. And boy, oh boy, what a game it's been, because it's had action, it's had pace, and it's had plenty of young Aaron Gollan, who leads us off here in the top of the 7th innings, Wani.
Well, New Zealand aren't happy about that run being collected by Australia, so they're going to do everything they can to get it back. And there's a nice start from Gollan. Just a drop bunt, and he raced down to first base.
Oh boy, he's quick, that kid. Top of the shop now, Tani Mumu. He's had himself a day. Off and running, Gollan on the first pitch. Down to second base, Mumu. flew out to right field on a firm drive in the first innings. And all he did in the second, the fourth, were drives up the middle that plated 2 runs for New Zealand, intentional walk in the 5th. Now his 5th turn at bat in this contest.
You know, Chopper, I know New Zealand have been aggressive in their base running, but to collect 5 stolen bases and not one of those look like being caught out. So I think there's something there for the Australians to look at. They need to stop the number of stolen bases that New Zealand have been able to collect, and that's been with 2 different catches. There's something just not quite working there yet for the Australians.
Yeah, pressure being applied. Australia tried a little bit of their own back in the middle part of this game with a double steal. New Zealand, though, up for it defensively. Put out the fire at third base.
Yeah, and so both of those stolen bases, New Zealand look close to getting them out.
Yeah. And Australia won't mind me saying this, but a few of the stolen bases New Zealand got at second base, they've got there well and truly in time. Colquhoun, of course, one of the pitches in the first game between these 2 teams over in Diamond 2. Got the start in that game, if I believe correctly. Really want to thank my crew, Hawani, with the weather we've had. I've been scrambling left, right and centre, standing in the rain. Just provide these images, and Moo lifts one deep to right field. Gollan will go to 3, and he will have the stop sign though at third base. And Moo, boy oh boy, exciting to watch.
Yes, he has great contact every time. It's just a matter of where is it going to go, how far is it going to go, and in this case, even when he's caught out, he's still advancing the runner with a nice deep hit out to right field.
I'll tell you what, you know how you look for scouting reports? Don't hit the ball to right field, because that Aiden Champney, he just gets everything. Of course, the scorebook's got plenty of red ink for New Zealand. 7 runs through 6 innings, 3 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 1 in the 6th. Of course, some of the scorers there here simply outstanding. They do a fantastic job for our sport, New Zealand, don't they, Wani?
Yes, they do, and you know, so much of our game is determined through statistics, and particularly for games that our national coaching staff aren't able to get to. It's the score sheets, the statistics that are collected.
High, and caught off by the centre fielder with a throw, but not strong enough to get Gollan at home plate. Early, a professional at bat, and they do push their margin back to 7, 8 runs to 1 now.
Well, it didn't have to go far into the outfield because you've got a speedster on third base in Gollan. So even though this hasn't gone deep into centre field, and possibly you've got the wrong fielder there coming in to field it, because the centre field is going away from the action. It would have been better in that case, I think, for the right field to have taken it. That being said, I don't think Gollan was going to be called. So New Zealand restore their 7-run gap.
Well, Hwani, I'm pleased to announce in the innings break, we're not going to go to commercial. We'll get a special guest coming in to join us. The head coach from Australia, Michael Beveridge. Real generous man with his time, and you'll know Hwani, a long storied history in managing the Australia Steelers and other national teams for Australia, now at the helm. So really looking forward to talking to him in the innings break.
I have to watch myself now. I'll preface everything I say that my husband is Australian.
Okay,
so.
Well, there you go. That'll work for sure. So Oscar Clark now, he's looking to find some success with the bat. 1 and 2 the count.
So Oscar looking for his first hit. Now he's in that number 3 slot, so that usually means he's, if not the strongest batter, one of the strongest batters in your lineup. Usually you'd have your person with the top hitting average in at number 3. Had a nice drive in his first turn at bat, strikeout, walk, and then flew out to centre field in his last turn.
Joel Byrne, real competitor on the hill, was supported by his centre fielder Cody Smith. They'll be looking to try and stop these Kiwis here in the top of the 7th innings. Slow roller, little skid and spin foul. I think as this is taking a little slow, I think we should bring in the head coach for Australia now. Well, I know his time is valuable, Hawani. So, Michael, g'day, kia ora. Welcome, my friend.
Very good to see you, and great to be back on, Chopper. Thank you very much, and kia ora.
Oh, there you go. He's got it all, Hawani. He's got it all. We've got Mike Beveridge, the Australian head coach of the Steelers. And Mike, we got a chance to catch up with you a couple of days ago in Wellington. Mate, what have you? I know we're only a couple of days in and the weather's been playing a bit of a factor. What have you thought of the campaign of both of your 23s teams? We see Byrne take care of business to finish the top of the 7th innings. Margin is 8 runs to 1. We'll come back in the bottom of the 4th, but we'll stay right here with the head coach of the Steelers. Mate, what have you thought of your under-18 lads so far and the 23 men's?
Oh, I'm exceptionally excited about what they've brought to the ballpark. I mean, yesterday, unfortunately, the weather played a part in proceedings, but our under-18s got the opportunity to get out and play 2 games, and we were very happy with the outcomes yesterday. I mean, the young kids was their first opportunity at international softball, and come out right from the get-go and piled on a bunch of runs against a very strong New Zealand outfit. I mean, we obviously have the utmost respect for New Zealand as a softball country. But we were very pleased with both our games last night that the under-18s come out and piled a bunch of runs on. And to New Zealand's credit, we've just seen them over in the back diamond there come out and reverse the table. So we were on the back end of a close 5-3 game where the junior Black Sox come out on top. So that just shows that they went home last night and regrouped and obviously come out today and had something very, very important to play for, and come out with the spoils and keeps the series alive for tomorrow.
Michael, welcome to New Zealand. Thank you so much for bringing your teams over here, and apologies for the weather. You're almost 2 games through now. What are the parts of the game for your Australian under-23s that you're enjoying seeing? What are the work-ons going into Test 3?
Oh, always work-ons, and that was the concept here, obviously, with the Oceania Qualifier series, and the concept is obviously to qualify, and New Zealand and Australia will do that, but it's all about preparing and getting the right dynamic so that when we get to a World Cup event, that we've got the athletes in the best possible position and prepared as best as we can. So we're using this as a development tool as much as wanting to win the series.
Perfect development tool indeed. We're underway in the bottom of the 7th innings here, and Australia will go to their lineup card of Scotty Sunley, and he'll bring in off the bench Boston Lowe, a big bopper to lead off the bottom of the 7th, and it'll be Jai Thurston and Lockie Coe 1, 2 and 3 for Australia. Trailing by 7, can the head coach for Australia be the good luck charm they need? Mate, you guys don't need charm. What has been the catalyst for Australia to turn the fortunes, well, not so much turn the fortunes, but increase the quality that you are producing at an international level?
Oh, without question. I mean, it's not something that's happened just in more recent times, Chopper. It's been a program that's been building for the last 25 years. On the back end of, we think back to 2000, the World Cup in East London, South Africa, potentially was a very much a learning curve for Australian softball, and a result that we were pretty ashamed about. And the program then changed direction, and all importantly, they brought in Bob Harrow. And Bob Harrow was the catalyst for turning the program around and ensuring that the athletes understood the importance of international softball. And we put together a program and have continued to grow from that point on. And make no mistake about it, right here is where we learnt to play the game against the Black Sox. Back then, they were dominant in world softball, and we knew that for us to be competitive, we needed to come over here and play against the best, and that's what we've done for the last 20 years. And our success is built on the learning curve that we've pretty much focused on the Black Sox culture and how to win.
Boston Lowe picks up the walk, heads down to first base. Second baseman, Jai Thurston now.
So, Michael, arguably the tables have turned a little bit over those 25 years, and for us, it's just so important to have these opportunities to, again, embark on our journey of recovery. What's in it for Australia?
Well, international competition is something that's very, very few and far between. And I think collectively, Softball New Zealand and Softball Australia are in a position where we can really assist each other. And we're quite positive about that and wanting to inject ourselves into coming across the ditch, and likewise invite our friends from Softball New Zealand to come across and let us host them, because at the end of the day, softball benefits. And if both programs are going to continue to drive on the international stage, we need to continue playing against each other.
I think also an important point, just on the international stage, North America has always been strong, USA and Canada. South Americans are on the charge. We saw Argentina winning their first World Cup title at the men's level in 19, but they're all on the charge coming through at the moment. Us blokes in the South Pacific, we look after each other a little bit here, and I love the collaboration between the two federations.
Absolutely, because for far too long we've been in the position where we've had to travel across the other side of the world. And we all know that the money tree in softball is not lucrative. So if we can maximise our opportunity by just being in each other's back door, and a short 2-3 hour flight across the ocean, and we can play against as good a competition as you're going to find anywhere in the world.
Looks like Scotty Sunnelly's not done with the Biro pin. And out he comes again and have a chat to the home plate umpire. He's going to bring in a pinch hitter here for Lockie Coe coming out of the game. And Oliver Stewart will pinch hit after back-to-back walks here in the bottom of the seventh innings. The good luck charm working a little here, Mike. We'll see how this one unfolds as we go through. Mate, you're talking about Money Tree, not just that. Who are some of the people in Australia, or who are some of the organisations that really help to make Softball Australia tick?
Oh, I mean, we're forever thankful, first and foremost, of Softball Australia themselves. I mean, they obviously give us the opportunity to do what we do. We've got very good government arrangements through not only the Australian Institute of Sport, but the Australian Sports Commission. And, proudly sponsored by, Game Clothing, who you will see that the athletes, adorn in a pretty good set of apparel. Game Clothing provide us with, looking good. I mean, Aussies don't generally need to try too hard to look good, do they, Chopper?
Wow.
But
Wait, you're asking the wrong person. And this one's a hard hit ball, thank goodness, to right field. And Aussie on the good luck charm of Tetheridge in the booth will plate 2 runs at the bottom of the 7th innings. Asking me for fashion advice, I don't know if that works. Hoani, your comments?
I've got no comments.
And I have no doubt that the bat that was just used by Ollie Stewart would have been of the Eastern variety.
Yep.
And they do supply us with very good equipment. So everybody in Australia jump on board, because Eastern Australia certainly do support the Aussie Steelers and the Aussie spirit in a big way.
Selfless plug done perfectly there. Mike Tetrick, head coach for the Aussie Steelers. Up to bat now, top the shop, Cody Smith for Australia. They have picked up 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th innings. Now the margin is 5. No outs here. So they've got off to the right start in the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll have to kick out the head coach shortly, mate.
I was going to say, what's the time? Time to get back to your dugout.
Mike, we had a graphic up just before the New Zealand Black Sox. Thomas Mark here has named his 16 friend Prince Albert. I'm sure you've had a chance to have a wee look at it yourself. Are you ready?
Oh, absolutely ready. It was interesting to see that Thomas has put up his team, and we see them listed there on the graphic. Very, very talented lineup, and any team that Thomas Makia is involved with will be absolutely cherry ripe by the time it gets to the World Cup in Prince Albert. So one of the most respected people in the world. I've got a lot of time for Tommy. And I know that the team that he's put together will leave no stone unturned to ensure that he continues to fly the flag of the Black Sox. I mean, him himself have really cemented himself as one of the premier softballs in the history of our game. So looking forward to doing battle with Thomas and the Black Sox.
Sharp hit ball from Smith down the line. You see Oscar Clark perfectly throw that one over in time. So they pick up the out-needed New Zealand. And the person who kind of started this, or put the spark plug in, Hoani, and then of course it was ignited by Goffer, but it's the replacement pitcher, Joel Byrne. He got the first run for Australia batting now.
Yes, and Michael, we were saying, regardless of the final result, Australia being able to go into the third test on the back of scoring a few runs would be extremely important, and that's happened. So that must be heartening as you head into Test 3, regardless of how this game ends up.
Absolutely. I mean, the mentality and the mindset of the Steelers and the under-23 program here is to fight to the end. And obviously, the Kiwis got the jump and have scored, put on 8 runs in 7 innings. But to the guys' credit out there now, they're obviously continuing to fight. And never say die is the attitude of the Steelers, and the boys will give it everything until the end. In saying that, though, still with 5 runs to peg back with only the 1 out, looking very much favourable for the Kiwis, and we'll have to go home tonight and regroup and reset and make adjustments so that tomorrow we can hopefully turn the table.
Of course, it is Dobe here, and it looks like it will be the last out. And New Zealand will run out victors 8-3 in the match. Hoani, I'm going to come to your final thoughts in a second. Mike, thank you for your time. We really appreciate you. We wish you the best of luck for the rest of the weekend, and of course, the best of luck at the World Cup in July.
Thank you, Chopper. Really do appreciate what you guys continue to do for the sport here, and it's outstanding effort, so well done.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Beveridge, the head coach for the Aussie Steelers, and came in. He got them a couple of runs in the 7th innings. Thank goodness. We just scraped through, Kawani. We just scraped through. But a great game there, Kawani. Of course, New Zealand getting the victory here this evening. Mate, what was your thoughts?
Well, I thought it was an outstanding game from New Zealand, continuing the form that they showed in the previous game defensively, but this time being able to keep the pressure on both in hitting and the running, and as I say, I think it was a complete performance from New Zealand.
It certainly was, and if I grab my scorecard of Warnings, we see the replays playing on screen there. New Zealand, boy oh boy, they were good from the get to the go offensively. 3 runs in the 2nd innings, and then another 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th. It was consistent runs that were key, wasn't it?
It was, and I think the work on for Australia will be on defence. Their pitchers are throwing hard, they can dominate these batters, but certainly if they're not fielding the ball, 5 errors in an international, that'll be something they'll want to think about heading through the rest of this series.
Defensively for New Zealand, they were outstanding. Not a blemish in the field. A couple of double plays were spectacular. But what about the youngster, Jaden Heta on the hill? 5 innings of work. Didn't give up a run. What a debut for the Major Sox.
Yeah, and full credit to Coach Stevie Deans. He saw that the kid had a great start, 5 innings, kept it tight, and he said, actually, let's bank that. We're going to need you later on in this series. So a great start. And actually, Jaden Priestley coming in later on in the game, turned a nice double play, completed a couple of good defensive plays. Yes, a couple of hits, but they were later in the game, and we were well ahead at that stage.
Wow, a complete performance. 2 pitchers from New Zealand getting the job done here, picking up the victory. And I'm just going to bring you over a little bit here, my friend. And there you go, I got you now. All good. Mate, New Zealand, Australia. It's 1-1 now. 7:30 coming up next, the 3rd test. Your thoughts on the match?
Well, let's see what happens with Australia's defence. I actually can't see it turning around. I think there will still be some errors, and for New Zealand, they'll just have to continue what they've been doing, which is put the ball on the ground, force 3-phase plays, make them pick up the ball, throw the ball, make them catch the ball, and on base. A real problem for Australia will be those stolen bases. So if New Zealand can continue being aggressive on base, continue to put the ball in play, I think New Zealand could be looking pretty good for this next game as well.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Juani Lambert, I've been Jason Gerbes, AK Chopper. We'll be back at 7:30 for the nightcap. Damien Collins and Jackie Smith have got the call on that one. It's 1-1 New Zealand. Who wins tonight?